It's 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. We got a lot going on today, man, and we are excited to be here with you. The show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You know why you need them.
Chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Betterwater.com. All right, so we got a lot to cover today, and we're excited to do it with you. You can watch us on Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. If you miss anything you want to share with a friend, podcast will be available on Apple and Spotify. So today is the day RFK becomes our Health and Human Services Secretary. I'm very excited. I do think that he's going to pass the vote, and we'll keep you updated on that as it goes through. We had Tulsi Gabbard confirmed yesterday. Also today, we have Kash Patel. He's going through the votes for the nomination for FBI director. This is not the final vote for him, procedural vote. And then, then the Republicans are going on vacation. They're taking a long weekend, and they're going to Germany. You know, it's funny. I was talking with Dan right before he left, and I got into the main chair, and he says, you know, this is the kind of stuff that makes people go uniparty. And I'm thinking, yeah, you're exactly right. This is the kind of stuff that drives people mad. Why are these votes so delayed? Can we get Kash Patel in there? Please, honestly. Now, we're going to have to wait till next week. I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering it, but I thought the Republicans under Leader Thune were going to do nights, weekends. Oh, they'll work through Christmas if they gotta. Nope. They couldn't even make it a month into Donald Trump's presidency, and they got to have a nice 4-day weekend. They don't even have the cabinet in place, and the soft Senate Republicans are taking a 4-day weekend. Bunch of clowns, honestly. You work for us, not the other way around. You should get Trump's cabinet nominees appointed. Let's go. Stop slowing things down. Are you working for the Democrats? We understand why the Democrats are upset. Dick Durbin this morning, he's been going off about Kash Patel, and Dick Durbin is so worried about Kash Patel. And let's be perfectly honest, Dick Durbin keeps blocking the Epstein list, and they're saying that day one when Kash Patel gets in, the Epstein list is going to be released. Maybe that's part of the reason, but Dick Durbin, the senator from Illinois, he has some things to say to Kash Patel.
All your life, taking an oath that you're ready to give your life in defense of this country, be involved in all of the assignments that you were assigned to, and then comes a new president, Donald Trump, and wants to see the names of whether you were one of the people who was involved in the January 6th investigation, the largest criminal investigation in the history of the United States. I think this is outrageous.
Oh, do you? The largest criminal investigation in the history of the United States. Yeah, the criminal investigation where you had 5,000 of your 13,000 FBI agents working on it, making sure that Mima was getting a no-knock raid at 3 in the morning. No, thank you. Dick Durbin, he's doing his best. Sheldon Whitehouse says, with Kash Patel and the FBI, it's time to prepare for Trump-Russia 2.0.
I think we need to begin to prepare ourselves for Trump-Russia 2.0.
Is Russia in the room with you right now, Senator?
The Trump-Russia thing was, I'm not going to go back all over it, fully ventilated in the Senate Bipartisan Intelligence Report, in the Mueller report. Trump-Russia was a thing.
Is this real life? Senator Sheldon Whitehouse is doing Russia? Russia? You sound like an idiot. It was fully ventilated, yet completely disproven by the guy that's up for FBI Director Kash Patel.
We stopped talking about it, but Trump kept talking about it, saying it was a hoax.
It was. And it was a hoax financed by Hillary Clinton and her cronies.
Russia hoax, Trump-Russia hoax. No, it was not a hoax. It was real. It was there. There's a record. Part of it was bipartisan work. Some of it was done in the House. There was an abundance of evidence about the Trump-Russia connection.
If I didn't tell you that this was literally just like an hour ago, you might think that this clip is from 3 years ago, 4 years ago. No, this is from like This was posted by the post-millennial on X 10 minutes ago. It's sad, honestly. This is sad. This is the state of the Democrats right now. Russia, Russia, Russia.
And now what are we seeing? We're seeing Patel coming in, who says he wants to wreck the FBI's what he called intel shop.
Yep.
Which is a part of the FBI that looks at Russia and does counterintelligence work against Russia. He said that he wants to close out the D.C. office and send everybody out into the field. Well, it's the D.C. office, not the field offices, that do the counterintelligence work. You want to shut it down? You're opening your arms to Russian intelligence operations.
I don't know. I'd make that deal. Would you make that deal? Sounds like a pretty good deal.
I'll make that deal. How about you bitch? You make that deal?
I'd make that deal.
I don't blame you. Damn good deal.
That's all I'm saying. So they're in there in D.C. They're trying to slow down Kash Patel. They're going to try and slow down RFK, but that train's not stopping. The confirmation vote for RFK is coming soon. Meanwhile, Trump just keeps winning. Activist judges just keep getting smacked down. We heard that Trump and Elon won in court. The federal worker buyout is allowed to proceed. A judge previously blocked the plan, allowing federal workers to resign with 8 months' pay. They're saying the numbers are kind of skewed. Some people are saying 65,000 federal workers took the deal. Others 70,000. The New York Post is reporting that 75,000 have accepted that deal. But it was yesterday a judge declined to pause the Trump administration's buyout program for government workers, giving Trump a key win in his push to shrink the size of the federal government. This is from the New York Post. U.S. District Judge George A. O'Toole, which is just, I mean, is that name not poetry? Judge O'Toole? Yeah. Ruled that the union groups suing to block the so-called deferred resignation program lack standing, and that his Massachusetts-based court lacked the jurisdiction to proceed with the lawsuit. O'Toole, an appointee of former President Bill Clinton, temporarily blocked the Office of Personnel Management from moving ahead with the program earlier this week after unions representing more than 800,000 federal workers charged that the buyout offers were unlawful. Well, they are not, spoiler alert, and they're going to proceed. Again, the numbers, depending on where you look, could be anywhere from 65,000 to 75,000 federal workers have taken the deal. And then we had more wins from DOGE yesterday. DOGE subcommittee going on. But the activist judges getting smacked down may have been my favorite thing. El Salvador President Nayib Bukele, who he's just done a fantastic job in El Salvador. He was reacting to the activist judges that are kind of trying to stop the Trump administration from doing what needs to be done and overstepping their authority, essentially. And he said, well, that's exactly what judges did in El Salvador in 2021. So we impeached them all, and then we fixed the country. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. The DOGE subcommittee, though, was wild yesterday. It just seems like a lot of this stuff is common sense. And there was one guy, Haywood Talcove. He's the CEO of LexisNexis Special Services. He was testifying in front of the DOGE subcommittee, and he says that you can do something very, very easy and save about $1 trillion every single year in entitlements.
How much money do you calculate is wasted due to waste, fraud, and abuse in the entitlement programs each year?
Yeah, my number right now between federal, state, and local government is you can save $1 trillion a year by simply putting in front-end identity verification, eliminating self-certification, and monitoring the back end of the programs that are providing the benefits. Those three things.
How much?
Just three things, and you could save $1 trillion with a T. $1 trillion. You put front-end identity verification, you eliminate self-certification, and then you monitor the back end of the programs that are providing the benefits. And you could save $1 trillion a year. $1 trillion. $1 trillion. Now, a lot of the DOGE subcommittee made sense. A lot of the DOGE subcommittee were Democrats just yelling and screaming. And one of those members that was yelling and screaming was none other than Jasmine Crockett. And I feel like they're trying to make her the face of the Democrat Party. Are you getting this impression too? Anybody else feel like they're trying to make Jasmine Crockett the new star of the Democrat Party? If that seems to be the strategy, good luck. I don't think it's going to work for you. This is Jasmine Crockett at the DOGE subcommittee hearing yesterday.
Because for whatever reason, we had a guy that went in, and you talk about people invading our data. Listen, people said that they were upset about TikTok, but I'm upset about the guy that runs Twitter, who for sure is doing nefarious things, because I don't understand.
He's for sure doing nefarious things because I don't understand. If I was running a conservative newspaper, that would be the quote that I would put on the front page. Jasmine Crockett, the guy at Twitter, is for sure doing nefarious things because I don't understand.
Because I don't understand, if you are trying to conduct audits and figure out where the waste, fraud, and abuse is, I don't know why you would go to some tech guy. In fact, it was only techies that were sitting there at inauguration. We didn't have auditors. I would welcome auditors to come in and do forensic audits. In fact, he sat there in the Oval Office yesterday, and he admitted that he was lying.
Okay, well, he did admit he was lying. But a couple things. You've had plenty of opportunity to have auditors in there, but the Democrats are upset because these tech bros are going in, they're looking at the code. They're not asking questions. They're not talking to people. They're looking at the data sets. And that's what makes them so uncomfortable. She says Elon went in to the Oval Office and lied.
In the Oval Office yesterday, and he admitted that he was lying, and he was using his propaganda machine to do it when he said that we sent millions of dollars to Gaza for condoms. That was a lie. So let me tell you something.
The gentlelady's time has expired.
It's time for
the
us
gentlelady's
to do our
time
job
has expired.
and rein in this rogue actor known
The gentlelady's time has expired.
This rogue actor known as Elon Musk, who has the full endorsement of the president. All right, he didn't admit he lied. He said he made a mistake. Okay, I mean this is a big difference. He didn't say he lied. He said he made a mistake. And then he said when he makes mistakes, he's going to be as honest with you as possible and admit them as quickly as possible.
Musk, you said on X that an example of the fraud that you have cited was $50 million of condoms was sent to Gaza. But after fact-check this, it apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV. So can you correct the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas, actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there. Yeah. And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct, so we can trust what you say?
Well, first of all, some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes.
And Jasmine Crockett is screaming that Elon Musk admitted to lying. No, we're not going to bat 1,000. We'll make mistakes. We'll correct them as quickly as we can.
Mistakes. I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million worth of condoms to anywhere, frankly. I'm not sure that's something Americans would be really excited about.
No, and I'm not excited about that. I know you're not excited about that. $50 million worth of condoms. But it wasn't to Gaza. It was to Mozambique. How dare you? Fun fact. People are pouring through the data. There's a X account called Data Republican who is absolutely making waves. And they created this program where you can sift through the data yourself. And a couple people are sifting through it, and they did actually find a $45 million award for reproductive health in the Gaza Strip. It was misclassified as other instead of a grant, which caused it to be excluded from the initial data set. So even when Elon is making a mistake and trying to correct it, he still ends up being right. Isn't that amazing? I find it amazing. We got a lot to cover. There's so much happening. Confirmation vote happening soon with RFK Jr. I think that this is one of the biggest appointments that we can get. We have a real opportunity with RFK to transformationally change health in this country and health outcomes. And not just for you and I, but for the kids in generations to come. Big pharma, big food, big ag, shaking in their boots this morning. And that's a good thing, my friends. It's 8:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
We are waiting on the start of the Senate confirmation hearings for RFK Jr. Also, make that Nashville electric customers settle a score with that utility. We've got those stories coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. 9:26 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, betterwater.com. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. So yesterday we had the DOGE subcommittee hearing, and Robert Garcia, he was in that hearing, and he said, Marjorie Taylor Greene one time brought D pics of Hunter Biden, so I'm bringing D pics of my own to this hearing. And you can fill in the blanks on D pics. And then he pulls out a huge picture of Elon Musk. I wonder if his staffers are like, dude, nailed it. Crushed.
Oh, you totally showed him.
You showed him.
Oh, that's so cool.
So then he goes on CNN. He's doing his victory lap. And he says, the CNN host says, why do you think calling Elon Musk a D is effective messaging for confronting all of this?
For confronting what is a potentially irreversible transformation of the U.S. government.
Well, And he says, well, he is a D. Oh, that's okay.
In an enormous way. And what I think is really important, and what the American public want, is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is
the American people want you to bring actual weapons. Once again, the unhinged left calling for actual violence.
An actual fight for democracy, for the future of this country. And it's important to push back on the chairperson of this committee. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about having decorum, about bipartisanship. This is the person that lies more than anybody else in the entire Congress.
Citation, please. Here's the thing. The Democrats constantly call for violence against the right. They never get called out about it. Did you see any of the mainstream media picking up the fact that Robert Garcia said the American people want us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight? Did you see any of the mainstream media bring up that reverend from Chattanooga, Reverend Steve Cottle at Greater Second Missionary Baptist Church in Chattanooga, Tennessee, when he called for violence against Elon Musk? No, it's always okay when they do it. Always. But, listen, the Democrats, they're telling you exactly what they're trying to do, and that's slow everything down as quickly as possible. Senator Chris Van Hollen, this guy's a Democrat out of Maryland, on MSNBC last night.
Is on Capitol Hill. Is Democrats basically needing to throw out the old playbook and start playing hardball in this environment that we're currently in? So when you and your colleagues get together for caucus lunches and meetings, what are the discussions on strategy for pushback right now? Because I feel like the American public is asking the question, what are you doing? And I recognize the limitations of being in the minority, but what's the answer?
Well, we are using all of our, powers in the Senate to slow down this train wreck.
Good luck. Good luck. The train's going to keep rolling, whether you like it or not. That train continues down the tracks today when we get the RFK confirmation vote. Yesterday, the train continued. We got Tulsi Gabbard confirmed as DNI. And after the confirmation, Donald Trump spent about 20 minutes taking questions from the press. We'll bring you those questions when we return right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 9:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We are waiting for that Senate confirmation vote to get underway for RFK Jr. to lead House and Human Services. He's expected to be confirmed by the full Senate. We'll stay on top of that for you. Also, other news, there was an early morning House Foreign Affairs Committee hearing to examine the Trump administration's funding freeze for the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID. Now, the agency's former chief operating officer, Max Primorak, said that Trump's actions were justified.
USAID's humanitarian system is also broken. In Gaza, American aid financed Hamas's campaign to exterminate Israel. Similarly, in Afghanistan, Yemen, and Syria, where we lack physical presence to ensure that our aid is not diverted to terrorists, our aid is sustaining these war economies.
Democrats on that committee lashed out over the cuts. Meantime, scores of firings have begun at federal agencies. CNN reports it began with terminations of probationary employees at the Department of Education and also at the Small Business Administration. Until now, federal employees across the U.S. agencies had only been placed on paid administrative leave. Nashville Electric Service has changed course and agreed to take care of damages caused to dozens of its East Nashville customers' appliances by a power surge late last month. NES initially blamed a lightning strike, but residents said they gathered weather data to disprove that theory.
Because we collectively got together and they realized they were under the gun. You know, they couldn't fight the whole neighborhood. But if I would call them individually, they could just push me away, and what am I going to do? So I went from them denying everything to saying they're going to take care of it.
The surge was reportedly caused instead by a transformer that blew out. Many of the residents said they lost all of their appliances. That is the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
heard you talk about widespread fraud and abuse.
Oh, yeah, tremendous fraud. There's tremendous fraud, and it's hard to believe that you can have that kind of fraud. You're talking about are you talking about what? Wait. Which are you talking? You're talking about with regard to all of the investigations that are going on about this stupidity. What we're going to do is tomorrow I'm having a news conference. I'm going to read to you some of the names that hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars have been given to. And if you tell me that we should be giving money to those things, those entities, I think you'll probably have to leave as a reporter because you're not very talented.
That's Donald Trump yesterday. After they confirmed Tulsi Gabbard, Trump's just like, okay, well, we'll do 25 minutes of questions. Why not? It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. He said, if you think that we should keep giving this money out, well, you should probably leave because you're not that talented of a reporter. He's a beast.
When you look at the kind of money, billions and billions of dollars being thrown away illegally, and there's no chance, I mean, I say it in front of our Attorney General, there's no chance that there's not kickbacks or something going on. When you give millions and millions of dollars to somebody that stands to look at something for 15 minutes and walks away with millions of dollars, that money's coming back in some form. And that's only one form of corruption. The biggest thing is what they do to our country. They're taking massive amounts of money and spending it on items. I went through a list of 200 expenditures that were made, and I found 3 that looked like they were reasonable. Okay, 3. And we'll be talking about that tomorrow. We have a lot of stuff. And I want to commend Elon because he's done a fantastic. He doesn't need this. You know, he's abused by you people every day. He's found more things than anybody could find. I think he's got the credibility to do it. I know he does. And it's his group of people. You know, they started off with 12. I call them 12 geniuses. They started off with 12, and they went to 20 and 25, and now they're up to almost 100. People are joining to help them because there's a massive fraud that's taken place.
That's Donald Trump, again, yesterday in the White House after Tulsi Gabbard was confirmed. Talking about the fraud, talking about the waste, talking about the abuse, saying we got to look into how these people made all this money on $100,000 salaries. They have millions and millions of dollars in net worth. He says, I say this standing in front of our Attorney General. Wink, wink, nod, nod, Pam. Maybe take a look. Maybe take a look. Trump just, I mean, he keeps going, too. He fired USAID's top watchdog after reports of billions wasted on educating al-Qaeda terrorists and drag shows. Yeah, you got to go. Yeah, we're not going to be saving you a seat. And I think that they got to look at a lot of these politicians that are involved, too. Maxine Waters yesterday accidentally saying the quiet part out loud. I was at a hearing. Jerome Powell was there. But she's talking about what Trump is looking into.
The people of this country are being violated because all of our privacy is being taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us.
Oh, we don't know what all they have on us.
We don't know what all they have on us.
You know, a lot of people say this is really what the panic is from the Democrats, that people are going to find where the bodies are buried. And that's where a lot of this fear and a lot of this screaming and yelling and thrashing comes from. Because how?
The people of this country are being violated because all of our privacy is being taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us.
Yeah, we don't know what all they have on us. What's Maxine Waters' net worth? Can you look that up for me real quick? Because you know some of the big ones. It's like Nancy Pelosi's like $96 million. She makes a little over $200,000 a year. Let me put that in a good savings account. Who's to say? You know, we don't know what all they have on us. How do you get your net worth into the double-digit millions, making just 6 figures a year? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. And we got to follow the money. You got her net worth? Maxine Waters, she's got to be worth what? Let me guess, like 87 mil? 72?
As of right here, at the end of 2024, she's worth $10 million.
Oh, I don't believe that.
I don't either.
I don't believe that for a second.
I don't believe that at all.
No. She stashed something offshore. But Trump says, we got to take a look at this stuff.
And then you have judges that are activists, and they sit there and they say, oh, as an example, $59 million going to a little small group in New York City. You get nothing going to North Carolina to help nothing. They say, we don't have any money because they've given it away on the border. But you have nothing. What they did to North Carolina is a shame. And then they sent $59 million to New York City for a hotel for a little bit of nothing. What they've done, a hotel that was not luxury, that's getting luxury rates for migrants, where they're making a fortune, and we catch them. But a judge says, well, even though it may be a fraud, you have to send the money in anyway. Send the money. I said, wait a minute. We have money that shouldn't go because we caught it before it was sent out, but they want the money to go anyway. And I think you're going to have a lot of things to look at, Pam.
Yeah, I think so too. Pam, I think you're going to be busy. I think Pam is going to be busy. Now, with the money that was sent for the non-luxury hotels at luxury hotel rates, Kristi Noem, shout out to Kristi. She's clawed that money back. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem said on Wednesday that she clawed back the full payment made by FEMA for hotels to house illegal aliens in New York City, days after the Department of Government Efficiency, our friends at DOGE, announced that discovery of the payment being made last week. She said, I have clawed back the full payment that FEMA deep state activists unilaterally gave to New York City migrant hotels, noting that FEMA was actively funding the Roosevelt Hotel that serves as a Tren de Aragua base of operations and was used to house Laken Riley's killer. Mark my words, there will not be a single penny that is spent that goes against the interest of this and the safety of the American people. Her announcement comes on the heels of Elon Musk heading up DOGE efforts, announcing that they discovered $59 million spent on luxury hotels in the Big Apple. Saying this money violated the law. It is in gross insubordination to the president's executive order, Musk wrote. FEMA remains under fire because of stuff like this. We have American citizens in North Carolina living in tents. Living in tents. But we have FEMA activists sending payments in direct insubordination to the president's executive orders. We have judges trying to stop Trump stopping those payments. It's insane. Pam's got a lot to look at, doesn't she? A lot.
That shouldn't go because we caught it before it was sent out, but they want the money to go anyway. And I think you're going to have a lot of things to look at, Pam. I really do. What's going on with this whole thing? And this is just one group. We haven't talked about Department of Education. We haven't talked about the military. We haven't talked about a lot of things that are very big. And what's happened is, as an example, you'll have cases where you have a 3-month contract, and maybe the guy that signs the contract leaves. Maybe he gets rich. All of a sudden he leaves for that reason. But you have a 3-month contract, and maybe he leaves. So the contract is sitting there. And the people signing the checks don't know it's 3 months, and it goes on for years. The 3 months turns out to be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, just goes on forever. And the guy on the other side of the contract just keeps getting check after check after check because Elon had an expression yesterday, because nobody cares.
Yeah, honestly, they don't give a damn about your tax dollars. They don't. It's on full display. We can see it as clear as day. We always had the suspicion, but now it's all been brought out into the light. And yet you still have Democrats trying to thrash against this. It's insanity. But Trump is exposing it all. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We haven't even hit Super Saiyan yet. We're not in our final form. We don't have Kash Patel in. We're waiting for RFK to get confirmed. Wait until they go through CDC, HHS. Wait till they go through the Pentagon. Wait till they go through the Department of Education. Line by line by line. We played a clip earlier. They said, listen, if you did something simple on some of these entitlements, like, front end verification, back end certification, checking the names, we could be saving $1 trillion a year. Wait until we get through the other departments. Just wait. This is only the beginning.
It's a great expression. Nobody cares. The guy that signed the contract didn't care. Maybe there, may not be there, maybe crooked, who knows. But you have to care. Otherwise, you can't really run a thing like that, or you can't run a country, really, because there's so many transactions, thousands and thousands of transactions. And if you don't have people that care, you're going to lose control. And that's what's happened, and we've caught it. Now, what we caught is billions and billions of dollars, but it's a tiny fraction of the real number, because you can never catch the real number because people have gotten away with tremendous amounts of money. But I said we have to make our government smaller, more efficient, more effective, and a lot less expensive. And we could find $1 trillion, but we're being hindered by courts where they file in certain courts where it's very hard to win. And a judge will stop us, and a judge will say that it doesn't make any difference what you find. You just keep paying the money. That's a hell of a way to be.
Yes. I just love the way Trump is just so honest, so blunt, and he wears it all on his sleeve. That's a hell of a way to be.
And I follow the courts. I have to follow the law. All it means is that we appeal. But that gives people time to cover their tracks. And that's what they do. So it's a very bad thing that's taking place. But hopefully, if the courts, hopefully the courts will be fair. They don't have to be very fair. They just have to be a little bit fair, because this is so egregious what's taken place. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Nobody's seen numbers like this. These are massive numbers. $9 million for somebody to go and stand in a store and see how people shop. Okay? I mean, you take a look at these things. It's a disgrace.
Yeah, I saw one report. It was like they spent $3 million on a report to find out why their other reports were inconclusive. Not a joke. Not a joke. Egregious is the nicest way of putting it. I've heard Donald Trump say words that I think you could use to describe this, but I won't because of the FCC. But it's what would Uncle Phil say? A bit of that bovine scatology. Bovine scatology. 9:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, and hey, it's that time of the month. February, Valentine's Day is coming up, and we want you to aim for the heart at the Glock store. How about the perfect double date? 2-for-1 shooting at the Shoot 270 indoor shooting rooms. That's right. February's got the perfect deal for you down at the Glock store. You book a couple shooting session at shoot270.com, and when you show up, you mention my name, Chris Hand, and it's 2 shooters for the price of 1. I had somebody hit me up on Twitter. They said, Chris, I didn't see the deal on the website. I said, well, you got to know a guy, and I know Lenny McGill, you know me. Book your session, and when you get there, you say, Chris Hand, and you get 2 shooters for the price of 1. Now, if your partner hasn't been to Shoot 270, you might have to explain this isn't a lane range. You're not shooting next to strangers. You're in a private shooting room with a personal instructor, a professional that will tailor the experience to your current level of shooting expertise. And whatever level you're at now, you're walking out better and more confident than when you started. 2 shooters for the price of 1. Book it at shoot270.com. Mention my name all February long. My place to train, the Glock store. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. Shoot270.com.
Coming up here in just a couple of moments, President Trump teases what he calls the big one, what he's got planned for an announcement today. Also, a jury has returned its verdict for a young Sullivan County mother accused of killing her daughter. Those stories coming up at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. 9:57, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You know why.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
BetterWater.com. All right, so we're minutes away from the RFK confirmation vote. And Senator Schumer, old Chucky, he gets up there and says this.
Previous HHS secretaries have had a pharmaceutical industry background, have been a state health commissioner, have run health systems, have been governors. Somebody who has had a background in actually administering the programs that HHS administers. I ask my colleagues, which of these qualifications does RFK possess? You know the answer. None of them.
That's why we want him. That's you don't have to sell me on him, Chuck. I'm already sold. That's actually why I want him. It's funny too. This is always a convenient argument for the left when they want to discredit somebody. But when it's somebody like Bill Gates, who doesn't have a background in pharmaceuticals and is not a doctor and wants to push a gene therapy on the entire population, all of a sudden we have to listen to Bill Gates and we have to trust the science. But when it's a guy like RFK, it's like, well, he doesn't have that background. We can't trust him. Millions of people supporting RFK. This is a huge win for the American people. He's going to be confirmed today. Make no mistake about it. We are not at our final form yet. We got to keep working, though. And I wish Senate Republicans were going to keep working. You know, the Kash Patel vote's going to get pushed off until next week because they need to have a 4-day weekend, guys. Clowns. Every single one of them. We have a limited time, potentially, with the majority in the House, in the Senate. And these guys are taking a 4-day weekend. This is why we hate you. I'm just letting you know. This is why nobody likes any of you. Pretty much. We'll keep you updated on what's going on with RFK. Also, one guy that was confirmed, Lee Zeldin over at the EPA, he found some money. He found some money that the Biden officials were trying to hide from him. We'll cover that when we return. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 10 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. President Trump is teasing a new round of tariffs this morning. These are the ones he calls the big ones.
We'll be signing reciprocal tariffs. The world has taken advantage of the United States for many years. They've charged us massive tariffs that we haven't charged them. And as you know, I just did something on steel and aluminum, 25%, and that'll go up at some point. So we're going to be doing reciprocal tariffs, which is whatever they charge, we charge, very simply.
Tariffs are a key part of Trump's plan to raise revenue to pay for the extension of his 2017 tax cut, on top of other promised tax cuts. Well, breaking news out of Sullivan County, where a jury has returned a guilty verdict for Megan Boswell in the death of her 1-year-old daughter. That jury finding Boswell guilty on all counts, including 3 counts of first-degree murder. Boswell is accused of killing her 15-month-old daughter, Evelyn, in December of 2019. She was reported missing in February of 2020 and found dead the following month. A forensic pathologist believes that little girl was suffocated. More arrests could be coming in the case of a huge heist of designer sunglasses from Sunglass Hut stores in Tennessee and South Carolina. Now, these glasses ended up being shipped via UPS to a home in Miami. Police showing off the sunglasses worth millions of dollars yesterday.
People might think this just affects Sunglass Hut. It does not. This affects every single consumer that goes out there and is trying to buy these items out there.
3 Miami men were arrested in Smyrna 2 weeks ago as part of that investigation. Right now, Tennessee lawmakers are considering a bill that would mandate that Tennessee driver's license tests be administered in English only. WSMV's Holly Thompson.
So there is a House and a Senate version of this bill. Right now, Tennessee offers the written test in English, Spanish, German, Korean, and Japanese. Translation dictionaries are allowed. Interpreters, though, are not. More than 12,000 written exams are taken in another language each year.
Now, one sponsor, Representative Kip Capley, says that road signs and other critical traffic information is primarily in English, and his bill is about safety on the roads. That is the latest news. We've got your weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
.05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Very, very excited today. RFK Jr., the Senate vote is happening currently. And the score right now, 38 yays, 29 nays. So we're winning. We're going to keep winning. We're going to get tired of winning, if you will. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can watch the show, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. And when you're on the YouTube page, hit like and subscribe. Would appreciate it. I'm looking at the like numbers right now, rookie numbers. We got to get those numbers up. So if you're watching on YouTube, I see you in the chat. Step it up. Hit like. Hit subscribe. Thank you. I'm calling people out.
If you don't do it for us, do it for Chris's kids.
Do it for the kids. You don't want my kids just eating bread and water, do you?
No. I heard they got a piece of bologna yesterday.
They did.
That must have been nice. A little bit of protein.
They did. All right. So we're just, it's like some of this stuff, like I really enjoy, like how we're finding all this random money that was supposed to be hidden from conservatives and spent on wackadoodle things. But part of it pisses me off at the exact same time. Enter Lee Zeldin over at the EPA. You'll remember under the Biden administration, the EPA wanted to get as much money out the door as they could, and that they were quote, throwing gold bars off the Titanic right before Biden left office. Well, update for you. Lee Zeldin over at the EPA has found the gold bars deep down in the ocean. Oh, Mason, where'd you go? I need some audio. Mason. My producer has fled the studio, and now I don't have audio.
He's checked out on you, bud.
He just fled.
Yeah.
I think he might have had to hit the little boys' room.
Perhaps. That happens.
I had this whole thing set up for Lee Zeldin. It was,
wow.
You know, they're doing this vote now for best radio shows.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, I just lost.
You just lost. Oh, well, just like every, Tennessee Titan fan, wait till next year.
Wait till next year.
That's right.
We're just going to count down the time until Mason gets back.
Yeah. If you know what button it is, I'll run in there and push it myself.
Nah, don't stress. Don't stress. It's okay. There's more that we can get to. There's a lot more that we can get to.
Well, we're watching right now.
There
because,
he is. Mason,
okay.
You fled.
Yeah.
You fled the studio. Turn your mic on. We need to do this publicly.
Public shaming.
Public shaming.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Why did you leave the studio?
Because I was thirsty.
Well,
it wasn't even the potty issue.
You got to make sure my audio is up before you leave.
Chris, you told me to pot it down. You never told me to turn it back on. Hey, man, I can't trust what's coming out of your computer.
Fair.
For what we were talking about?
This is fair. Yeah, we were talking about a lot of F's and S's.
That can't slip over the air, man.
That's not on Lee Zeldin.
No, it's not. But
Lee cleans it up. But I made the point. That there's like big voting going on for like the best radio show in Tennessee. You just lost it for me.
I mean, this adds to the commentary.
All right, you got my audio up?
Yes, sir.
Lee Zeldin found $20 billion, the gold bars that they were throwing off the Titanic.
Hi, this is EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. One of my very top priorities at EPA is to be an excellent steward of your hard-earned tax dollars. There will be zero tolerance of any waste and abuse. An extremely disturbing video circulated 2 months ago featuring a Biden EPA political appointee talking about how they were tossing gold bars off the Titanic, rushing to get billions of your tax dollars out the door before Inauguration Day. The gold bars were tax dollars, and tossing them off the Titanic meant the Biden administration knew they were wasting it. Following this revelation, during my meetings with members of Congress, I made a very important commitment to them and to the American people, which I reiterated at my confirmation hearing that if confirmed, I would immediately get a full accounting. Fortunately, my awesome team at EPA has found the gold bars.
So the Biden administration knew that they were wasting your tax dollars. They were trying to waste your tax dollars. And everybody in the Trump administration, doesn't matter what department you're in, they're looking for that wasted money now. And it's got to pain the Democrats. So at the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, they got rid of $20 billion with a B, $20 billion before Trump came in. They just wasted it. They got it out of there. Again, mind you, this is while we have American citizens that are homeless. We have veterans that are homeless. We have people in Lahaina, in California, in Western North Carolina that need help. And the Biden administration is actively wasting your tax dollars. It is infuriating. They told us when the Biden administration came in, the adults are back in charge. That's actually true these days. And Lee Zeldin over at the EPA found those gold bars.
Shockingly, roughly $20 billion of your tax dollars were parked at an outside financial institution by the Biden EPA.
Listen, I know he says shockingly, but are you actually shocked by that? I'm not in the least bit shocked by that.
This scheme was the first of its kind in EPA history, and it was purposefully designed to obligate all of the money in a rush job with reduced oversight. Even further, this pot of $20 billion was awarded to just 8 entities that were then responsible for doling out your money to NGOs and others at their discretion with far less transparency. Just under $7 billion was sent to one entity called the Climate United Fund. I'm sure you and I now have some of the same questions. How do these organizations decide how to allocate funding? How much money have they given out so far and to whom? Are there any former Biden EPA staffers who are now working at these entities? Let me make one thing abundantly clear. At this point, there is zero reason to suspect any wrongdoing by the bank. Here's my position as EPA administrator. The financial agent agreement with the bank needs to be instantly terminated, and the bank must immediately return all of the gold bars that the Biden administration tossed off the Titanic. EPA needs to reassume responsibility for all of these funds. We will review every penny that has gone out the door.
Now, I like that Lee says we can't assume any wrongdoing by the bank. But he doesn't say we can't assume any wrongdoing by the Biden EPA staffers. And you know, we played a clip earlier of Donald Trump saying, "Wow, Pam, you're going to have a lot to look at." That list keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. Lee Zeldin at the EPA says we're gonna trace every single dollar of this money, every penny. I know Trump's not the biggest fan of pennies, but I think he'll let this case slide.
I will be referring this matter to the Inspector General's office, and will work with the Justice Department as well.
Let's go.
The days of irresponsibly shoveling boatloads of cash to far-left activist groups in the name of environmental justice and climate equity are over.
Can I get a hallelujah?
The American public deserves a more transparent and accountable government than what transpired these past 4 years. We take our obligations under the law as seriously as it gets. I've directed my team to find your gold bars, and they found them. Now we will get them back inside of control of government as we pursue next steps. As President Trump has vowed, we are going to usher in a new golden age of American success for the citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed.
So that's Lee Zeldin. The $20 billion that the Biden administration tried to waste of your tax money has been found, located, and it's coming home. We're seeing success story after success story. You know, I highlighted Kristi Noem getting back the $59 million that was sent out by FEMA for illegal alien hotels. Now we got Lee Zeldin with the gold bars off the Titanic, $20 billion. This is not peanuts. This is not pocket change. This is insane. And people need to be punished for this. They absolutely do. And we got a lot of praise that we need to give to Elon and his team and the Trump administration for bringing a heightened awareness to how they were wasting our tax dollars, because the Democrats, they don't seem to have an issue with it. They're yelling and screaming about Elon and how Elon's a bad guy, but this fraud is all on them. This waste is all on them. This abuse is on them. And it's going to be rectified one way or another. And again, shout out to Elon and his team.
And it doesn't make sense. It is interesting that when you're looking for fraud, you look at items, hundreds of items, and you'll find one or two, maybe, if you're lucky. Here's something where you look at it, and they're all fraudulent. You know, by just looking at the topic, they're all fraudulent, except it's the opposite. You'll find one or two that's like a legitimate reason. So I just want to thank Elon for going through it. I want to thank all the people that are working with him. You know, we have a big group of people. I think the lowest IQ is about 160. That's very high. I think you have a couple of 182s in there, but they're doing a fantastic job. He doesn't need it, and they don't need it, but we're showing things, and it's going to be it's a big. People have no idea how important it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and Trump is going to have another press conference today at 1 o'clock Eastern, noon our time, where he's obviously going to be asked more about Elon and go through this. Meanwhile, the Democrats, they're fighting back. They're fighting back, and they're having these nice rallies, protests, where they're laying out the facts, right, about how Elon is doing things that are wrong, like Rep. Emmanuel Cleaver out of Missouri.
Now, I'm going to be quick because I want to send a message to somebody.
I just want to say, this guy to me, I don't know about you, but he sounds like a bizarro world Ben Carson, personally.
Elon, take your musty millions and musty Moscow rights to the moon.
Nailed him. Everybody's chuckling behind him. They think he's so funny. This is the modern Democrat Party. They have lost the plot and lost the narrative. Also, our government can't get back to the moon because they lost the technology. Gosh darn it. Elon is meanwhile catching rockets that he sends into space. So yeah, if he wanted to go to the moon, he probably could. Wasn't our government asking for Elon's help to get the stranded astronauts at the ISS? Yeah, weird.
Because if you don't, we're going to stand up, we're going to speak out, we're going to march, we're going to do anything we need to do to make sure that the people of this country understand that the CFPB is for them. You get your musty hands off of our money or go to Moscow. You musty moo.
You musty moo. That's Rep. Cleaver out of Missouri. Wow, he's changing hearts and minds, one speech at a time. You got to love it. Real quick, breaking news.
This is a breaking news update on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr., my friends, has been confirmed as the next Health and Human Services Secretary. Unbelievable. We're going to have some real change in this country. Whether the Democrats like it or not, we will drag them kicking and screaming to prosperity. This is a game changer. Big Pharma, Big Ag, the FDA, the CDC, the NIH, get ready. Get ready. There's a new sheriff in town. RFK Jr. is your Health and Human Services Director. Woo! Secretary, sorry. I'm excited. I'm very excited. This is unbelievable. Now, I don't know about you, but I remember exactly where I was when RFK Jr. came out on stage and endorsed Donald Trump. It was a massive moment. This is a win for all the moderates and the independents and the crunchy granola moms who came over and held their nose for Donald Trump and voted with us to fix America. This is a win for conservatives who understand that Big Pharma doesn't have your best interests at heart, that the medical industrial complex doesn't give a damn about you. This is a big win. This is a big win for every mom and dad out there who's tired of the red dye 40 in their food, is sick of the high fructose corn syrup that we're feeding our kids. This is a win for anybody that's tired of the childhood epidemic of obesity, the chronic disease in our country. RFK Jr. is now the Health and Human Services Secretary. And for that, I say thank you. This has just been a massive win for us. And I just go back to that time RFK was on stage endorsing Donald Trump.
I started working on this issue 19 years ago. And for 19 years, I have got every morning, without one exception, I have said a prayer to God to put me in a position where I could end the chronic disease epidemic. And on August 23rd of this year, God sent me Donald J. Trump.
It's unbelievable. Definitely a God moment. God is good. RFK Jr. is your next HHS Secretary. Unbelievable. Huge fan. Listen, health insurance is tough. Big pharma is tough. The medical industrial complex is corrupt. You got to know who to trust. If you need to talk to somebody about your health insurance, talk to my buddy Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. If you need health insurance, it doesn't matter what your income level is or what your health status is. Shane can be saving you some money because he's got over 20 years of experience in health insurance, and he'll shop the entire market for you. He actually has over 75 different companies to shop from and every single type of plan available in the market. Again, no matter your income or health situation. Don't let yourself or someone you love be taken advantage of by call center agents. No. Call Shane Ring today. Shane can easily save you 30 to 60% on your monthly premiums, and many of these plans will even pay you when you use them. Call Shane today, 615-465-0023, or you can book an appointment at his website, covernash.com. That's 615-465-0023 to book an appointment with Shane Ring. Get a quality health plan managed by you, not the government. Covernash.com.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Up ahead here on WTN, we have just learned that RFK Jr. got himself enough votes for confirmation in the Senate. But there is one notable Republican that voted against him. Wonder who that could be. That's coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Does he freeze up and talk like a turtle sometimes?
That was well done. Kind of scary.
I don't do impressions often.
Yes, but that one's a good one. You should hold on to that.
I will. I hate that guy. I just do.
Strong word.
And I mean it. Sorry. RFK Jr. is your Health and Human Services Secretary. It's a good day. Our friend Eric in Morristown, we love Eric. He's on the line. He wants to talk about the gold bars at the EPA and RFK. What's up, Eric?
Yeah, good morning, man. Thanks for taking my call. Yeah, I was on hold, and you came across with the news about now Secretary Kennedy. Say
Let's
it loud,
go.
say it proud.
Let's
yeah,
go.
Man, let's get this glyphosate out of the food chain, so to speak. Regarding Secretary, I'll go backwards. Regarding Secretary Kennedy, I think that now, how should I say, you were talking about the granola bar moms and stuff like that. Hey, I'm a quasi granola dad here.
Yep. I say that with love. I say that with love.
Yeah, 110%, man. Here's the thing on this, and this is my opinion. He stands to have even more resistance, in my opinion, than even President Trump has right now, because there is no money in a healthy population.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
Everybody needs to stay sick in order to keep this going. I am of the opinion that there is already cures for cancer out there, but because there is so much investment and lineage and legacy in cancer research, that if that ever came to light, or some of that stuff came to light, it would wipe out whole industries. There'd be no need for this. And I would think that a lot of our health, how should I say, I believe all of our health starts with what we're putting in our mouth, to include ultimately diseases, cancers or whatever.
Yep, the processed food and all that junk. And then on the cancer cures, I mean, you saw the Mel Gibson, Joe Rogan podcast where they're talking about methylene blue and ivermectin and all those kinds of things. I'm kind of with you.
The methylene blue, I haven't really dug into that. The ivermectin, even the WHO with all of their, how should I say, incongruities in their medical advice, even them, they said years ago that ivermectin is one of the biggest discoveries in medicine, because it's pennies on the dollar for the cures that it can provide.
It won a Nobel Prize. I think the problem with ivermectin was always that it was so cheap.
You're correct. Yeah, you're correct. Thanks. Yeah, it did win. It was a Nobel Prize in medicine for someone who discovered that or helped implement that globally. Now, this all linked, in my opinion. I hope I'm not overstating the obvious here, but leading back to going to the $20 billion of proverbial gold bars found. That is massive. Okay, one agency is $20 billion. They found just one time. Yep. Now, I am of the opinion that he's not going after all this money and finding all this waste, fraud, and abuse actually hurts the intelligence community, in which we now have Director Gabbard in charge of DNI, national intelligence. That's what that hurts. All this money, all these influence operations, all these coups d'etats sponsored by the U.S. Federal government overseas. People think back, what started people getting real ticked off at Russia? Well, about 10 years ago, or maybe 10 to 13 years ago, Vladimir Putin kicked USAID out of Russia and charged some of those people with espionage, for suspicion of espionage and what's it called, subverting the Russian government. Now, I'm not here to debate the how should I say, the benevolence of the Russian Federation and its government, but that's what started all this Russia. People really think back, again, back in time, so to speak. Now, as far as what is going on administratively, obviously, there's a bazillion pundits out there. There's a lot of good, how should I say, now mainstream, formerly alternative media and news sources out there that are crushing this. And you mentioned one, Post-Millennial. They are on top of it 110%. Let's give them 105% of the time. They're on top of it as far as the news getting out there. Now, you mentioned how should I say, this all also reflects directly on the grand old party, the Republicans in Congress and Senate for the past, decades and decades and decades, to include the Oversight Committee. What in the heck have they been doing all these years?
Honestly.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
I'm with you.
Now, as far, you also mentioned, what's her name? I forget her name. She's now the calls everybody white supremacists. White
Jasmine
supremacists.
Crockett.
There you go. Yes, I will agree with you. You said it last hour. I do agree with you. She is becoming, or is now, the new face of, how should I say, the formerly known as Squad, if you will.
Yep, she's the new leader.
They have to keep people angry because anger is easy. I know I'm one that needs to deal with it. I get ticked off all the time, but the point being is there's people that is all they live for is anger because of its emotional response.
The two easiest emotions to manipulate people with are anger and fear. We got to hit a break, Eric. I appreciate your call as always, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Call in anytime. It's 10:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 10:30 now, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. RFK Jr. has now been confirmed as Secretary of Health and Human Services. It was a party line vote with the exception of one. Senator Mitch McConnell voted against RFK's nomination, as he did with Tulsi Gabbard as DNI yesterday, but she also was confirmed. Well, now that he is confirmed, Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt says that President Trump is going to move quickly.
We've seen that 1 in 36 children are now impacted by autism. And so when RFK Jr. swears in today, President Trump will sign an executive order to establish a MAHA commission and direct RFK Jr. to investigate this chronic crisis plaguing our country and the minds and the bodies of the American people. It's an important issue for so many Americans, and it's an exciting day because the president will be delivering on that promise.
Let's go.
Right, a commission. I'm very happy about that one. Kash Patel's confirmation to the FBI will head to confirmation sometime next week, probably toward the end of the week. Franklin police are offering a $1,000 reward for information about a shooting Tuesday night that left a man dead. Police say they were called to an area of Valor Court for shots fired, and that's where they found 32-year-old Latarius Johnson. He was dead. He was described by friends as an aspiring musician.
A really heavy loss, and we all feel it. And I just hope that his legacy doesn't boil down to just the way he went out.
This is Franklin's first homicide this year. There was just one homicide in Franklin in all of 2024. Well, because of recent car break-ins and thefts, Metro Nashville police are hosting a community meeting tonight. It'll take place at the West Police Precinct on Charlotte Pike. They'll talk about the latest information about these break-ins and safety measures that residents can take. The meeting starts at 6 o'clock. That's the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. She's not tired of winning in the newsroom. We're not tired either. Winter clearance pricing is here from Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Last chance for low-price installs. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, they're cleaning out their 2024 inventory to make room for the 2025, passing the savings along to you. You need a new heater? How about just $6,999 for a 14-SEER, 1.5 to 3-ton split heat pump model? That's a fantastic deal, only from Busy Bee. And you'll also get a bundle smart thermostat in there for free. That's limited to the first 25 customers, so make the call today. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They're not just there to replace your unit. They're there to take care of your unit, and they can do that at a great price as well. Join the Beehive Club membership today with Busy Bee. It's just $99 per unit. You get 3 annual tune-ups, 10% off all repairs, front-of-the-line service, $100 annual accrued replacement credit with a maximum of $1,000, and no overtime or holiday fees, plus exclusive Beehive member promotions. How about this for a freebie? You buy one Beehive Club membership in the month of February, you get one of equal or lesser value for free. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. These are the guys I trust. You can trust them too. BusyBeeHVAC.com. It's 10:38, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. You can watch us on Super Talk TV, brought to us by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can watch on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube while you're there. Hit like, hit subscribe. We appreciate it. And then you won't miss a minute of anything on Super Talk. If you need to listen to us another way, the apps are there, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, the 99.7 WTN app. You missed something, podcasts on Apple and Spotify. That's all the things. It's a lot of things, but that's all of them. RFK Jr. is your HHS Secretary. Wild, man. Wild. He's got a lot to clean up. A lot to clean up. But I trust this government right now to clean it up. We're seeing it. We're seeing it in real time, happening so fast, how they're cleaning everything up with the USAID stuff, with DOGE. It has been truly, truly remarkable to watch. And just from our vantage point, we're loving it, man. I'm absolutely loving it. Getting rid of the fraud, getting rid of the waste, getting rid of the abuse. We need to do that. This is what we need. But the Democrats are saying we're not being transparent enough. You know, Elon's not being transparent enough. Trump isn't being transparent enough. And I would say, well, you can look at the DOGE Twitter account. I mean, that's pretty transparent. They're posting screenshots of everything, and it's wild. EPA. This is from last night. EPA canceled 3 DEI contracts, saving American taxpayers $45 million. And then it has the receipt. That's not transparent enough. 58 cancellations with savings of $150 million in categories including media, DEI, consulting. This includes a $405,000 contract at DHS for resilience, energy, and sustainability management programs support services, and $4 million at Department of Transportation for DEIA projects. And then they have a screenshot of the receipt. This isn't transparency, the left will yell. We were promised the most transparent government. That's not transparency. Well, Scott Jennings shut down CNN on the lack of transparency argument last night.
Conference, Scott? Well, look, Elon Musk, who doesn't need to do this, has, he could be doing anything else. He's got companies. He's the richest guy in the world.
Don't need to do this. It's not like
has decided to give his own time to a government of a country that he loves, that has given him all this opportunity. I take him at his word that he wants to be transparent, that he invites transparency. Obviously, everybody in the English-speaking world media is looking into him every single day. I would have no fear if I were him about Congress. He
hasn't been
asking questions and looking into it. I think they are.
The definition of it is he's not been on the front end of this so far. He's not been transparent.
I mean, again, that's just a bold-faced lie. And maybe the audience at CNN is going to buy that from the host. But you know the truth. You know the score. It's all out there in the open. I was just laying out the contracts and the screenshots that are on the DOGE account. Elon stands in the Oval Office for what how long was that? Like 30, 40 minutes answering any question that any reporter is throwing at him. That's not transparency. Explain to me what you would view as the best case scenario for transparency if this ain't it. Honestly, CNN gaslighting once again. Scott Jennings not taking it.
I mean,
they are making routine announcements about the things they are finding, and they are inviting questions about the things they are finding every single day.
But by definition, he's not being transparent.
They're making just posts about what they're finding. They're answering questions about what they're finding. They're talking about it. And the CNN host says, by definition, they're not being transparent, Scott. But by definition. Define transparent for me then. Honestly. They're working with U.S. Treasury employees. They're working with employees in just about every federal government agency that they're working with. Define transparency if this ain't it. They can't. She's just lying. This is a lie. And maybe the Democrats think if they repeat this lie enough, people will start to believe it. But I don't think anybody's buying this.
They're not providing data for the things that they say they have found evidence of. They just aren't.
The White House has provided.
You can make announcements, and he also did admit that he actually.
So you just don't believe it. I mean, they are providing information. You just choose not to believe that it's.
Yeah, you just don't believe it. They're showing you the data. They're putting it online for everyone to disseminate. They're answering questions from the press. You're just choosing not to believe it's true.
I don't think anyone should just believe that it's true. Do you think that people have taken kickbacks of tens of millions of dollars from USAID?
I know. I love how she says of tens of billions of dollars. No, maybe a couple $100,000 here and there. I'd love to trace every single dollar back to the source, and I think that's what we're getting to. I think that's going to be something that we see happen down the line. But this woman, I'm not choosing to believe. I'm not just going to believe it. I'm not just going to believe it. This is from the network that brought you Russia, right? This is that network. The network that believed the science. That network. I'm not just going to choose to believe something because they say it's true. It's literally what you do with every Democrat talking point. Every single time. All of the time. Okay?
Here's what I think.
Do you believe that?
I think every year.
No, but don't accuse me of just like.
I'm just asking you. Do you believe that there is any level of fraud, waste, fraud, abuse in the government?
No. That's not what you're asking me, and I'm going to ask the question. Don't accuse me of just like.
And so, if you believe that, do you believe that it's possible that they are finding and producing information about it? Of course,
that wasn't my question. My question was, by definition, they're not being transparent.
It's not a question.
They can continue to be successful.
What do you want them to do?
Provide data. If they're provide data that they have found people, everyone would want to know if someone has received kickbacks to the tune of tens of millions of dollars.
I don't disagree with you. I love the idea of data. I love the announcements. I love them putting out regular reports of what they're doing.
Have not.
And I love the idea of Congress also bringing them up to report to Congress on what they're finding, because ultimately Congress needs to be engaged in this as well. I have no problem with that, and I don't think they do either, and that's what I heard in his press conference yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think they have a problem with that at all. I think they are down to keep going. And, with the kickbacks, that's going to be an investigation that's probably above DOGE, wouldn't you think? You heard Trump in the White House yesterday, in the Oval Office, saying, you're going to have a lot to look at here, Pam. Talking to Pam Bondi, his attorney general. That investigation is going to be a bit above the head of Elon Musk. That investigation is going to fall at the feet of Pam Bondi. You can be mad that DOGE is exposing a lot of the leftist grift, but deal with it. It doesn't mean it's not true. There's no data. There's no data, they say. There's no data. Again, I'm just scrolling through the DOGE Twitter account. Today, the Department of Education terminated 29 DEI training grants totaling $101 million. There's no data. There's no data. Great coordination across 35 agents over the last 2 days. This is on February 7th. To terminate 199 wasteful contracts, saving $250 million. There's no proof. Contracts for Asia Pacific, Sri Lanka, climate change mitigation, adaptation, and resilience coordinator services for Forest Service. Workshop for intercultural communication, diversity, dialogue, circle communicating across differences. They terminated those contracts and saved $250 million. But they're not showing the American people anything. Okay. All right. Listen, leftists can keep screaming about this. It's not connecting. Like, it's not hitting at all. Again, they can yell, they can scream, they can repeat it over and over and over again, and that strategy may have worked in the past. Probably great strategy 2017. We saw that strategy work in 2017. These days, that strategy isn't working. Now, some Democrats are understanding that. You do have saner, I say saner, not sane, saner Democrats out there. Senator John Fetterman, though I'd wish they had come around on Tulsi Gabbard or on RFK Jr. He didn't, and I think he's a loser for that. But he's a little bit saner. Dean Phillips, the guy that ran against Biden and tried to be the nominee for president in 2024, he was on CNN last night. He's a bit saner when it comes to Elon Musk and the Democrats' strategy currently.
Unfortunately, Democrats are only focused on one thing right now, Mr. Musk. The fact of the matter, he's quite popular. He has the largest platform in human history, which is, of course, Twitter/X. And I think we're missing the boat as Democrats. And all I'm saying is that sometimes it's better to join them and actually play a role in how the strategy works rather than so pathetically, frankly, try to combat something that clearly is a steamroller, and Democrats are being steamrolled.
Democrats are being steamrolled. Democrats are woefully unprepared right now. Woefully unprepared. And then you get Lee Zeldin out there and he says, we found the $20 billion. You get Kristi Noem saying we took back the $59 million that FEMA sent out for illegal alien hotels. The Democrats will then go out and shout out lies. They're cutting veteran benefits, they'll say. They try to emotionally manipulate people. VA Secretary Doug Collins went on the record last night on X and says, listen, don't believe what you're hearing. We're not cutting veteran benefits via DOGE.
Hey everybody, it's Doug again. I can't believe it. I've been here about a week. And the one thing that hadn't changed about DC? It's the media up here that like to tell you stuff that they want you to believe. I'm going to give you a breakdown. This is how it happens in the media up here. They take a possibility and then they run with a story because they want you to believe it because they got to write something, and frankly they don't know what to write because right now President Trump is making progress and this administration is doing what it said, making promises and keeping them. But let me tell you one that's right now. There's a one that's going around in the media right now about veterans' benefits being cut. I'm the Secretary of VA. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not happening. They can do hypotheticals all they want. I'm telling you about reality. Reality is veterans' benefits aren't getting cut.
Reality, man. It's a tricky thing. It's a tricky thing, especially when you're a Democrat.
In fact, we're actually giving and improving services in our Veteran Benefits Administration. They're actually clearing cases quicker. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. There's also this rumor out there that DOGE is out there, is this infamous thing that's going to take personal information and do that. I'm telling you what, we've got DOGE representatives here that are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that is looking at our contracts, making sure that we have the best run facility for efficiency to make sure who? The veteran gets the care they need. I'm happy to partner with them to find things that we need to get rid of so that we can put the money where it belongs. You know where that is? Back with our veteran. President Trump's hit the ground running. We've hit the ground running. And like I'm saying, if you want to come for the real truth, come to see me.
That's Veteran Secretary, VA Secretary Doug Collins. No, veterans' benefits are not being cut. Again, the Democrats will accuse Elon Musk of lying and a lack of transparency while they lie and give you no transparency. They'll always accuse you of doing what they do. It's wild, right? That's the Democrats for you. A couple Democrats that were Obama staffers, they run a podcast now called Pod Save America. And they're actually a bit upset that what Trump is doing wasn't accomplished when the Democrats had power. I'll play you that when we return. It's 10:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
RFK Jr.'s nomination is over the goal line, and Kash Patel is getting closer. Democrats losing a member in the U.S. Senate. We'll tell you about it at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. 10:56 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You know, you're hearing a lot of angry Democrats. Some of them are being honest. You got Dean Phillips out there. He's being honest. He's like, listen, you're missing the plot. You keep focusing on Elon, and you're shooting yourself in the foot. That's what he said last night on CNN.
Unfortunately, Democrats are only focused on one thing right now, Mr. Musk. The fact of the matter, he's quite popular. He has the largest platform in human history, which is, of course, Twitter/X. And I think we're missing the boat as Democrats. And all I'm saying is that sometimes it's better to join them and actually play a role in how the strategy works, rather than so pathetically, frankly, try to combat something that clearly is a steamroller, and Democrats are being steamrolled.
Yeah, the American people want this. You're being steamrolled. You look pathetic. It's sad, really. It's sad. And we're watching your entire party just crumble. I mean, I made the point earlier. It seems like the new face of the Democrat Party is Jasmine Crockett. Well, hey, best of luck to you, Jasmine.
Well, they're also singing catchy little songs out there during the protest, too, Brother Chris.
This is true. And don't forget Rep. Cleaver out of Missouri. Did I play you that? He called. He said Elon should go to the moon or Moscow, and then called him a musty moo-moo.
Goodness.
A musty moo-moo. I'll play that for you soon. I know you just got in, Ken. I don't want you to miss that.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
But there's some Democrats out there that are like, you know, they might not like it, but they're honest, right? The guys on Pod Save America are former Obama staffers. It's actually a big podcast, Pod Save America, and they were talking about Trump and the speed of what he's doing, how he's doing it, and how they're a little bit jealous.
Trump is he is moving so fast. They are doing a lot. It's not just the perception of it. They hit the ground running in a serious way. It's like genuinely impressive in a dark and sinister way.
I love how he had to throw in the dark and sinister disclaimer. He had to. He had to say in a dark and sinister way. But he said it's genuinely impressive.
But it's nonetheless impressive. And if you're turning on the news every day and hearing about all these different things Trump is doing and all the different criticisms coming out of it, you may not like all of it, but like in comparison to how people felt about Joe Biden being basically absent. I imagine for a lot of people, it's a welcome change.
The energy, and he's signing things, and he's affecting all that. I think that is playing extraordinarily well.
It's like you don't want to seem like you're opposed to government efficiency, but obviously now they're just rampaging through like the government Venmo and shutting shit off left and right.
I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just lamenting our situation.
I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just lamenting our situation. Yeah, you blew it. You had an opening. You blew it.
Me too. No, I love it. I felt the same way because I've seen the messaging memos, and it's like,
you hear that? I don't want to bury that. I've seen the messaging memos. The messaging memos, meaning the hey Democrats, this is what we're all saying. I've seen the messaging memos.
You know, the young people, Gen Z, they like DOGE and what Elon's doing because, you know, they see government as sclerotic and inefficient, and they like the move fast and break things ethos, and they want to get stuff done, and they like the results. And it's like, yes, of course, we all want that. We all know that government is slow. We all know that government can be inefficient. We all know that the bureaucracy can be bloated. We all worked in the White House. We tried to reorganize the government. We tried to find efficiency.
And you blew it.
It's hard to do.
And honestly, some of this is pretty annoying because it's some of the stuff we should have done.
Right, yeah.
You know, you could do some of this.
We should have done it. We didn't know we could do some of this. That's honesty from the left right now. You don't get it a lot, but it's important to highlight it when you do. Again, that was Pod Save America. Those are all former Obama staffers. And they're saying, listen, Gen Z, they love it. And this is something we should have done, but we didn't know we could do it.
Right, yeah,
you know, you could do some of this.
We didn't know. We didn't know you could do some of this. Well, sit back and learn, boys. Daddy Trump is home. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
11 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Right now, I want to check traffic for you. I see we have a crash blocking the right 2 lanes over on the East Loop downtown going eastbound. That is causing quite the backup, as you would imagine. In Laverne, we've got debris in the center lane. That's going to be 24 eastbound between Old Hickory Boulevard and Wadron Road. RFK Jr., just confirmed as Health and Human Services Secretary. The only Republican to vote no was Republican Senator Mitch McConnell. Kash Patel now has one more hurdle to go to run the FBI. He cleared a key vote today, and now that's going to the full Senate. Election 2026, Democrats losing a member in the U.S. Senate. Minnesota's Tina Smith says she will not seek re-election. And we just got a new economic report, says Jim Ryan.
The Producer Price Index, a gauge of what wholesalers pay for raw goods, rose 0.4% in January, slightly above analysts' expectations, but a deeper dig into the numbers finds inflation relatively mild. Separately, weekly jobless claims unexpectedly fell last week by 7,000.
Overseas in Munich, Germany, early today, a man taken into custody after slamming a car into a group of people.
Security in Germany already very high because there have been a number of these sorts of ramming attacks in recent months. And tomorrow is the Munich Security Conference. Vice President J.D. Vance is due to speak, as well as the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. This attack happening just a mile or so away of that conference venue.
That's ABC's James Longman. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Vice President J.D. Vance slated to attend that conference. President Trump taking his first steps to bring the Russia-Ukraine war to an end, having a 90-minute conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Trump asked if he would support Ukraine having to give up territory.
Well, he's going to have to do what he has to do.
Hours earlier, his new defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, speaking at NATO headquarters during his first trip to Europe, was blunt, saying Ukraine's long-sought membership in NATO isn't realistic. Neither is thinking Ukraine can regain all the territory Russia has seized.
Yeah, President Trump says he's going to have his first meeting with Putin in Saudi Arabia soon. He spoke with Ukraine's president afterward. Because of recent car break-ins and thefts, Metro Nashville Police hosting a community meeting tonight at the West Police Precinct on Charlotte Pike. They're going to talk about the latest information about the break-ins and safety measures residents can take. That meeting starts at 6 o'clock tonight. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You know why you need them.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
BetterWater.com. I love it. You can watch us on Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. While you're there, hit like, hit subscribe. I know you're watching because I see the numbers, and it doesn't reflect in the likes and the subscriptions, so you got to step your game up. Those are rookie numbers. We need to get those numbers up. Do it for my kids. Thank you. Thank you. That is all. That's all the things I'm going to do right now.
It's appreciated.
It's appreciated. They said to me, Dad, can we stop eating bread? I said, once we get some likes up, we'll get some protein back in that diet.
Got to get them likes up.
And then they said, can we have some fruit snacks? I said, well, no, not until RFK is confirmed. So we're on our way. We're on our way to doing that. We're gonna get the junk out of the food. RFK Jr. confirmed today, Health and Human Services Secretary. Big fan, huge fan. Ready for this? Big pharma, big ag, big food, shaking in their boots. And I'm very excited. Steve in the borough wants to talk about Kennedy and Musk. Steve, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Yeah, how you doing today? Yeah, it looked like Kennedy might get in. He might get in today. Hopefully.
No, he's in. He's in, man. He's in.
Oh, he's in. Okay.
Signed, sealed, and delivered, Steve. Signed, sealed, and delivered.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. No, I just tuned in to the radio. I didn't know. I heard that they were supposed to be confirming him. Yeah, hopefully they'll get cash in next week so we can really start doing some serious investigating.
I know that pisses me off, though. There's a we're gonna work nights and we're gonna work weekends and we're gonna work so hard. By the way, it hasn't been a month. We're gonna take a 4-day weekend because we're going to Germany. It infuriates me. I think that the Republicans need to step their game up.
Yeah, they're trying to inconvenience cash. It's really sad that Donald Trump has almost been in the White House a month now, and he still hasn't got all these people confirmed. They're doing that on purpose. If it was a Democrat, if Biden, let's just say Kamala would have won the election, I guarantee you they would have had all her people confirmed by now. Chuck Schumer's and these other losers in the Congress and the Senate, they would have already had their Kamala's people approved by now. But 100%. These people know, like you played the audio at the beginning of the tape, beginning of your show with Maxine Waters. She had a slip of the tongue. These people know that they did something wrong, and they know that Elon is hot on their tail. That my grandfather told me this a long time ago. If you don't have nothing to hide, you wouldn't have no reason to be worried about somebody investigating you. There's a reason why these Democrats are raising hell with the Board of Education and about all these other because these people have something to hide. They've been doing some dirty stuff. And like you said, how can a person that makes you, like you say, $100,000 or $2,000 a year in the Congress or Senate, how can they end up being multimillionaires by the time they leave that position? There's some dirty dealing and underhanded money taking place.
Steve, I'm not a financial advisor, but you get a good savings account with a good interest rate. Sky's the limit, my man.
Yeah, and it's what you call insider trading, especially with Nancy Pelosi. You remember when she was had a position. It was real funny how the day before a sudden stock or something would go out of business, they would sell everything, or when they heard that a stock was getting ready to do some good business, all of a sudden Nancy Pelosi had the inside track.
Yep.
These people have insider information, and that's how they become multimillionaires. And Elon and Donald Trump and all the other people that Trump got working for him, they're going to get to the bottom of this, and hopefully people not only lose their jobs, but people go to jail because they've been stealing money. They've been stealing money from the American people for too long, and it needs to come to a stop. And hopefully, when it's all said and done, the Democratic Party probably will no longer exist by the year 2028 because there won't be a legitimate Democrat to run for president because they're all crooked.
I don't. I mean, on the course that they're on, I don't know if the Democrat Party exists in 2026. I mean, I was talking with some people off the air, but in between commercials, they're rudderless. You see them, and they're all holding their own separate random meetings. Nancy Pelosi's nowhere to be found. Hakeem Jeffries is nowhere to be found. It seems like their leadership doesn't know what to do. By the time they focus on something, they're already pulled in a million different directions by the new thing that Trump is doing. They're lost, man. They are lost.
Yeah. Me and you are thinking on the same.
Democrats are only focused.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, me and you were thinking on the same deal, except I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. You said 26 and I said 28. I was going to give them the benefit of another 3 years, but at this point, you might be right. 26 might be the final day for the Democrats. And like my grandfather says that's a good thing, not a bad thing. And I thank you for taking my call.
Amen. Appreciate the call, Steve. Steve is on a roll, man. I like Steve. He was talking about Maxine Waters, and Maxine Waters, she doesn't often tell the truth, but when she does it accidentally.
The people of this country are being violated because all of our privacy is being taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us.
What was that? Hold on. Slow the tape.
We don't know what all they have on us.
Oh.
Dude, you are the master of audio, man.
It just makes me. I'm just here for the memes.
Yeah, it's just a humble meme.
I'm just here for the memes.
They have on us. We don't know what all they have on us.
Meme farming's good. It's honest work, but it's honest. It's good. It's been good to me. All right, and then Ken, you haven't heard this yet. This is a Rep. Cleaver out of Missouri.
Okay.
He was he's railing against Elon. You know, they're doing what they do, right? Elon bad, Orange Man bad. So you got Cleaver, and he's out of Missouri. Oh, I'm trying to find it real quick. He had an insult for Elon Musk, and he called him a musty moo-moo. A musty moo-moo.
Okay.
And I made the point earlier.
What?
He sounds like in the beginning of this. He sounds like a Bizarro World version of Ben Carson. This is Bizarro Ben Carson, 80-year-old Democrat Rep. Emmanuel Cleaver out of Missouri. Just really rallying the people against Elon Musk.
Now, I'm going to be quick because I want to send a message to somebody. Elon, take your musty millions and musty Moscow rights to the moon. Because if you don't, we're going to stand up, we're going to speak out, we're going to march, we're going to do anything we need to do to make sure that the people of this country understand that the CFPB is for them. You get your musty hands off of our money or go to Moscow. You musty moo.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Oh.
Yeah, you musty moo.
Goodness.
It's also important to point out that he said, Elon, you need to get your musty hands off our money. It's his money.
Yeah.
You sure about that?
Yeah. This is the state of the Democrat Party. Go to Moscow, you musty moo. This is why I don't think we have to worry. They're rudderless. They're rudderless. They're lost. They're like wounded little animals right now. It's sad. It is absolutely sad what's happening to them. I'm here for it. And again, we're not even in our final form, folks. RFK Jr. was just confirmed. If the Senate Republicans didn't have to go on vacation to Munich, they didn't have to take a 4-day weekend, maybe we'd get Kash Patel in there sooner, but it looks like Kash Patel's coming next week. Pam Bondi just got confirmed, Tulsi Gabbard just got confirmed. Pam Bondi's been confirmed. Pam Bondi working her butt off, and she's announcing more lawsuits, which is just fantastic. She's already gone after Illinois, and now she is going to be suing New York over prioritizing illegal aliens over American citizens. And for that, Miss Bondi, we say thank you.
We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to hear from in a moment. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today.
Amen. And she had the mom of Kaylee Hamilton behind her, a young girl who was killed by an illegal alien. There's too many of those stories. But Pam Bondi, she's sued Illinois and J.B. Pritzker and Chicago and Brandon Johnson for prioritizing illegal aliens over American citizens for their sanctuary city laws that flout federal regulation. And now she's doing the exact same thing with New York. And she's not here to play games. Pam Bondi is here to take names and kick ass. Take names, chew gum. She's all out of gum. She's out of gum. She just needs to take names. She's announced yesterday that they're taking legal action against Hochul, Letitia James, and DMV Commissioner Mark J.F. Schroeder over New York issuing driver's license to illegal aliens. They say the actions are in step with President Donald Trump's pledge to restore law and order throughout the nation. Bondi said this during a press conference that the lawsuits target a green light law that permits illegal aliens to obtain driver's license in New York. Thank you, Pam. She also sent out a warning to any other state that thinks that they're going to get away with this same kind of, and again, to quote Uncle Phil, bovine scatology.
President Trump has directed this to stop. And if you don't comply with federal law, we will hold you accountable. We did it to Illinois. Strike one. Strike two is New York. And if you are a state not complying with federal law, you're next. Get ready.
I'd believe her. I'd believe her if I were you. And there's plenty of states that we could go after. Let's be perfectly honest. I hope they take up Boston next, where they have illegal aliens. You know, no big deal, hanging out in migrant taxpayer-funded shelters with just fentanyl pills and firearms. Yeah, let's go there next. So many states have been putting illegal aliens over American citizens, and that is going to stop, whether they like it or not. So you had Pam Bondi announcing these lawsuits. Yesterday, you also had Kristi Noem clawing back $59 million that FEMA spent on illegal alien hotels in New York City. She got that money back. President Trump talked about that yesterday, the $59 million from FEMA being spent on hotels for illegal aliens.
This is a massive fraud that's taken place. And then you have judges that are activists, and they sit there and they say, oh, as an example, $59 million going to a little small group in New York City. You get nothing going to North Carolina to help nothing. They say, we don't have any money because they've given it away on the border. But you have nothing. What they did to North Carolina is a shame. And then they sent $59 million to New York City for a hotel for a little bit of nothing, what they've done. A hotel that was not luxury, that's getting luxury rates for migrants, where they're making a fortune. And we catch them. But a judge says, well, even though it may be a fraud, you have to send the money in anyway. Send the money. I said, wait a minute. We have money that shouldn't go because we caught it before it was sent out. But they want the money to go anyway. And I think you're going to have a lot of things to look at, Pam. I really do. What's going on with this whole thing? And
yeah, I think Pam's going to have a lot of things. Pam's going to be busy. The DOGE staff is not done. They're going to keep looking at stuff. They've expanded. It was 12 employees first. Now they're up to 100. They're in just about every department in the government now. They're going to keep working. Pam's going to have a lot to look at. A lot. She's busy. I'm here for it. Pam Bondi also had a message to anyone leaking ICE operations. We talked about that yesterday. they're leaking the locations of where these ICE raids might be. And that's insane. You're putting people's lives at risk when you do this. Not just the law enforcement officers, but let's be honest, the illegal aliens as well. And these sanctuary cities, they don't give a damn. They're putting illegal aliens' lives at risk. They're putting law enforcement officers' lives at risk. And Pam Bondi says anyone leaking ICE operations, looking at you, FBI, they will be arrested.
The great men and women in law enforcement standing behind me today, they must be protected. And anytime anyone leaks or tips off anything regarding a pending investigation, that jeopardizes lives. You're telling a bad guy what's about to happen. It could jeopardize the lives of all the men and women in law enforcement. We will not stand for it. We will find you. We're going to investigate it, no matter what agency it came from. We don't know for certain. We have an open investigation, so I can't talk about it in detail, but we will do everything in our power to hold you accountable, and it is a crime, and you will be prosecuted when we find you.
That's Pam Bondi. Again, taking names, kicking ass, chewing gum. She happens to be out of gum. It's 11:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand. You know about my friends at Better Water. You know why you need a water filter. Hit the sounder. Everybody knows why.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
I mean, we say that as a joke, but listen, there's a lot of nasty stuff in your water. It's the water you're drinking. It's the water you're bathing your kids in. It could be iron, sulfur, chlorine, bacteria, E. coli. There could be some nasty stuff in your water. Do you want your kids dealing with that? Do you want your wife or your husband dealing with that? Call my friends at Better Water. They offer a full range of water treatment equipment, from reverse osmosis units to water softeners to specialized filters, UV lights, you name it, and they're local. They're based out of Smyrna, right here, and they treat all of Middle Tennessee. They're the same guys that are treating the water at your favorite local coffee shop. They even treat the water at the hospitals you go to. These guys are the best. Go to betterwater.com to learn more, and if you're not sure what's in your water, call them today. Craig, Brandy, they'll take care of you, and they'll even test your water for free. Tell them Chris Hand sent you, 615-355-6063. That's 615-355-6063. Better Water LLC, online, betterwater.com.
Collision at sea involving a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier. We'll tell you about that and more at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. 11:26 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can watch the show, Super Talk TV. I feel like the guys over in the YouTube chat are feeling a little neglected. Do you feel like that sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah.
I look over and
they
I
like
see
their little shout-outs.
I look over, I see a message. It says, "Say hi to us, Chris." Hi, guys.
They sound like the Democrats.
They do. Look at us. Look at us.
Hey,
please.
We'll sing you a song.
You musty moo-moo. All right. Well, no, I'm just shouting out the YouTube chat. Appreciate you guys. You can watch us on Super Talk TV. YouTube is the preferred place. Did you see that YouTube that has actually switched? They've gone from being primarily mobile or laptops to being TVs now.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's so nuts.
That's wild.
I mean, with all the Roku TVs and whatnot, it's like a primary button on my Roku TV at home.
That's where I watch everything.
Yeah, that's wild.
Right there on the TV. My kids think I'm on TV because of the Super Talk TV.
I mean, technically,
you
are.
Technically, I still like our friends on the FM dial a little bit more.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not playing favorites, but
Allegedly.
I'm looking at the likes and the subscriptions on the YouTube channel until they start beating out the numbers we do on FM. You guys are just the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah. Something I do want to call out though that I am extremely impressed with.
What?
We're at 482 viewers today.
All right, that's cool.
Across our streams.
That's going to make me nervous, Brother Mason. Stop.
Didn't brush your beard this morning?
The numbers always jump when Ken gets in the building.
Oh, for sure.
Have you noticed that? Like, Weave's here? All right, sign me up.
Time to be on.
I bought a brand new comb from a beard.
Did you?
Yeah. And then I lost it.
No.
I lost it, but I found it. But yeah, bought a brand new comb, and then I misplaced it. Got mad yesterday morning because I couldn't find it. And then I found it today, right where I put it after I bought it.
I love it. Big news of the day. We got RFK Jr., Secretary of Health and Human Services. Everybody's so happy and excited, except for the Democrats. Senator Alex Padilla.
And so I know you also voted against Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to be Health and Human Services Secretary. You also called him unfit and unprepared. What are, Senator, the factors that you consider when you decide whether a nominee is fit and prepared?
Look, it's especially for Health and Human Services, right? We've been through a health pandemic where we have the bird flu that's just recently been transmitted now to humans.
Bird flu.
We need somebody at the helm of HHS that is not a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, there it is. I like my secretaries as conspiracy theorists personally. They just seem to be ahead of the game. You know, they called him a conspiracy theorist when he said COVID came out of a lab, and then we waited. They called him a conspiracy theorist when he said that the COVID schmaxine wouldn't stop you from getting it or spreading it, and then we waited. Are they not seeing how this movie plays out? I feel like we've seen this one before. Also, they didn't have any problem with Richard Levine, did they? That was just an example of the epitome of health, right?
That's what RFK Jr. Has become. We need someone who is not going to peddle in misinformation and try to profit on fear and misinformation. That's what RFK has done. We need someone who supports science and data, the safety of vaccines.
Science!
And by the way, as we're entering this budget season, someone who's going to stand up to defend Medicare and Medicaid. RFK Jr. in the confirmation hearing made it abundantly clear he doesn't understand either. So,
it was abundantly clear. It was, Senator Alex Padilla. I sense the butt hurt, and I just let it flow through you. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Got some breaking news. Fox News, the first to report that a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier has been in a collision with another vessel. Fox News says the USS Harry S. Truman collided with a merchant vessel near Port Said, Egypt, in the Mediterranean Sea. The Navy issued a statement saying no one was in danger on the carrier. There is no flooding or injuries. In our nation's capital.
On this vote, the yeas are 52, the nays are 48. The confirmation is confirmed.
Yeah, that is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., now the Health and Human Services Secretary. And
Let's go.
And for a third time now, Kentucky Republican Mitch McConnell joined with the Democrats to oppose one of President Trump's second-term appointments. Now, as the full Senate was voting on Kennedy's nomination, the Judiciary Committee voted along party lines to favorably report on Kash Patel's bid to the FBI director. That goes now to the full Senate floor. Here's another one of Trump's cabinet picks, Linda McMahon, to run the Department of Education, telling her confirmation hearing today she's going to work with Congress to downsize the agency.
He pledged to make American education the best in the world, return education to the states where it belongs, and free American students from the education bureaucracy through school choice.
And right now in Tennessee, a jury finds an East Tennessee mother guilty of first-degree murder and 18 other charges in the death of her baby. Prosecutors say Megan Boswell's 15-month-old daughter, Evelyn, in December of 2019, was not reported missing until the following February. Her body found a few weeks later inside a trash can wrapped in a blanket and aluminum foil. Megan Boswell to be sentenced today. She faces life in prison without parole. And police looking for the person who killed Latarius Johnson in Franklin, the first homicide in Franklin this year. He was found shot on Valor Court on Tuesday night. Witnesses say they heard multiple gunshots and saw people run and then drive out of the neighborhood. Franklin police have not released any suspect information, saying they're looking for leads and asking anyone with information to call them. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Thank you, Ken. It is 11:33 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I'm looking at the forecast, and it does look like we got more rain this weekend. So if you were hoping that the rain was going to subside because you have waterproofing issues at your home, I'm sorry to break it to you. More rain is coming. And when you see that rain coming, it stresses you out. Because you got cracks, it's getting in your basement, it's getting in your crawl space. What are you going to do? Well, the easy thing to do is call United Structural Systems. They're your waterproofing experts, and they've been doing this work in Middle Tennessee since 1994. They're not going anywhere. When you get a guy coming to your home that's not a sales guy, he's not working off a quota, he's going to bring a custom solution to you. You found the right people to work with. You found the best. You found USS. If you're seeing water in your crawl space, wet basement walls, cracks in your basement floor, don't ignore it. That's going to lead to wood rot. That's going to lead to mold. And if that wood rots, man, then you got foundation issues. Then you got bigger problems. Call USS today. They'll create a custom solution for you, and they'll make sure that your waterproofing issues are a thing of the past. 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855. Online, USSTN.com.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
1137 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. Shout out to everybody in the YouTube chat. Shout out to everybody watching on Facebook and on Twitter on Super Talk TV. That's brought to us by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. The Democrats, they're just lost, man. They're lost. Trump's trying to bring peace between Russia and Ukraine. He's trying to make the government more efficient. And they're just angry about it. They're just so angry about it. And when they're not screaming about Elon Musk or Orange Man bad, they're going back to the same old tired Democrat playbook. And it's so weird. I had a friend mention this to me, and he was spot on. You're seeing all these different Democrats going different places, but they're like doing it on their own. They're so splintered. They're not unified. And yesterday was another prime example of that. You had some members of the squad and a few other members of the Democrat Party randomly show up to start talking about racism, and that's their big issue of the day. This is Rep. Watson Coleman. And I don't know if this plays to the base. I don't know if this plays to anybody. But she said that Trump and Musk and Stephen Miller, well, they're threatened. They're threatened by black excellence.
Black excellence scares Donald Trump. It scares Stephen Miller, and it scares Elon Musk.
What are you doing? How does this, like, if you're trying to win voters over, how does this play to anybody that you're like, what are you doing for people? How are you going to make people's lives better? What plan do you have for America? And you come to the podium and this is all you got.
Black excellence scares Donald Trump. It scares Stephen Miller, and it scares Elon Musk.
Actually, I don't think it scares any of them. I think that what Trump has been saying is he's looking for excellence, period. No matter what your race or religion is. Just looking for excellence. If you happen to be black and you happen to be excellent, well, welcome to the team. We'd love to have you on it. Black excellence scares Elon Musk, and it scares Donald. What? What are these people doing with their time? She spent some time to write this down. She's reading off a sheet. This is insane.
Because you know what? Deep down, they recognize their own mediocrity.
Oh, they're scared. I get it now. That makes way more sense. They're scared of black excellence because they're worried about their mediocrity. Okay. You're keeping track, right? Their mediocrity. The guy that's won the presidency, depending on who you ask, 3 times. And then the guy that runs X and Tesla and SpaceX, the guy that can catch rockets up out of the sky and reuse them. That's mediocre. It's his own. That's mediocre. I'm interested to see some of this excellence then that she's speaking of.
And so they're doing everything they can to entrench the racial wealth gap.
Oh, they're doing it. Again, this is how you know the Democrats have absolutely no ammo. Like, what can we say? They're actually fixing a lot of the fraud and the waste and the abuse of the budget. Okay, well, we probably shouldn't go after that. What should we go after? Oh, I know. Let's say they're afraid of black excellence. Oh, that's a good one. And then at the same meeting, you had Democrat Rep. Summer Lee go, I got an even better idea. What we should do is we should file a bill for reparations. And then when it goes nowhere, because we don't have the majority in the House or the Senate, and it's a stupid idea, we can say that it didn't go anywhere because of racism.
Our government, no matter who is in power, has an obligation to right these wrongs, to provide reparations for descendants of enslaved Africans, to eliminate the racial wealth gap, to uplift the black community. White supremacy is rampant in this country. Just look at the current administration and our own legislative body. They have contributed to the social and economic harms, to racial terror black folks have experienced in this country. Now, more than ever, we must acknowledge and repair those harms.
Listen, the Democrat Party, I think they're in a constant loop of like the 1960s civil rights movement, and it's now 2025. This shtick just isn't working anymore, and it shows that you have no real plans for the future of this country. Yet this is what we get from the modern Democrat Party. It's embarrassing, in all honesty. It's completely embarrassing. These guys need to get it together. Again, meanwhile, Trump is speaking with Zelensky. Trump is speaking with Putin. Trump is trying to find a way for peace in the Middle East. He's trying to do a lot of things that are good for all Americans, not just some, all Americans. Trump speaks with Zelensky. This is from the Post Millennial. After revealing that he had spoken to Russian President Vladimir Putin about plans to negotiate an end to the war in Ukraine, Trump has said that he's also spoke with Vladimir Zelensky, who wants to make peace, posting this on Truth Social. I just spoke to Zelensky of Ukraine. Conversation went very well. He, like President Putin, wants to make peace. We discussed a variety of topics to do with the war, but mostly the meeting that is being set up on Friday in Munich, where Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio will lead the delegation. I am hopeful that the results of that meeting will be positive. It is time to stop this ridiculous war where there has been massive and totally unnecessary death and destruction. God bless the people of Russia and Ukraine. I mean, if you believe the numbers that are out there, like 700,000 Ukrainians, 800, 900,000 Russians, it's the largest war in Europe since World War II, and it just keeps raging. And Trump seems to be the only guy that wants to stop the bloodshed. He was talking about this yesterday in the Oval Office after he, does what Biden never did. After he got finished doing what he's doing, he just started taking questions from the press.
Dealing with President Putin largely on the phone, and we ultimately expect to meet. In fact, we expect that he'll come here and I'll go there, and we're going to meet also probably in Saudi Arabia. The first time we'll meet in Saudi Arabia, see if we can get something done. But we want to end that war. That war is a disaster.
Yeah, and let's also end the taxpayer money funding that war that nobody supports. He said Putin will come here and he'll go there. So we got a Trump to Moscow visit and a Putin to D.C. visit on the agenda. It's wild, man. It's crazy to look at the date, February 13th, and think Trump hasn't even been in office a month yet. And you look at what this guy has been able to accomplish. It's wild. He's getting hostages home. He's negotiating peace deals. He's trying to fix the bloat and size of our government. And he also announced yesterday that reciprocal tariffs, he's going to be signing that executive order. So if you want to tariff us 15%, guess what? You're now being tariffed 15%. Again, the agenda is America first.
We'll be signing reciprocal tariffs. The world has taken advantage of the United States for many years. They've charged us massive tariffs that we haven't charged them. And as you know, I just did something on steel and aluminum, 25%. That'll go up at some point, but 25%, which will level the playing field quite a bit. I did it previously 50%. And Obama was very weak, and Biden was even weaker on steel. The steel was just absolutely, it really started with Obama. The world really took advantage of us, and then that morphed into Biden. And what they did was he was so worried about trying to attack his political opponent that he didn't know what he was doing with respect to countries taking advantage. He should have looked at the countries, both friend and foe, taking advantage of us. So we're going to be doing reciprocal tariffs, which is whatever they charge, we charge.
It's simple enough, right? America first. That's the agenda with Donald J. Trump. And America first helps all Americans. He also talked about the Department of Education while he was taking questions after Tulsi Gabbard was sworn in as the Director of National Intelligence.
Department of Education's a big con job. We're ranked, so they rank the top 40 countries in the world. We're ranked number 40th. But we're ranked number one in one department, costs per pupil.
Isn't it wild that that always works out? We're always spending the most money and we're always getting the worst results.
So we spend more per pupil than any other country in the world, but we're ranked number 40. We've been between 38 and 40. The last time I looked, it was 38, and then I looked 2 days ago, it came out the new list. It came out at number 40, so we're ranked 40. Norway, Denmark, Sweden, I hate to say it, China, as big as it is, it's ranked in the top 5.
China!
And that's a primary competitor. We're ranked number 40. So if we're ranked number 40, that means something's really wrong, right? And I say send it back to Iowa, to Idaho, to Colorado. Send it back to places that, and there are a lot of Indiana. You have a great new governor. You have a great senator that Jim Banks just got elected. You got great people. I'll tell you what, Indiana is going to be fantastic. We probably have 35, maybe 37 states that will do as well as Denmark, Norway, Finland, Sweden. They'll be just as good. Then you have the ones that we all know about. It'll be the same story. But you know what? Even they will be good. Because you look at New York, you give it to Westchester County, you give it to Long Island, you give it to Nassau County, you give it to Suffolk County. Same thing you go out to, and you give it to upstate New York. So you'd have 4 or 5 sections. You give it to Manhattan. Manhattan's a little bit tougher. For some reason, I don't know why it would be tougher, but it is. You give to California and you go to various areas outside of Los Angeles, and you might have 6 or 7 different subgroups. But generally, like if you go to Iowa, you give it to Iowa. You don't have subgroups, you have Iowa. And other places that do a good job. If they do a good job, they're going to do a great job in education.
Yeah, give it back to the states. Again, Trump is just focused on America first. And it has been refreshing. Not even a month into the White House. America first, America first, America first. It's 11:49 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 11:53 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand in studio with Chad Benson.
Hello.
What's up, man?
What's up, brother?
Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems,
Without
water
the
softeners.
frogs, the gay frogs.
You know.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Nobody does.
BetterWater.com.
Nobody does.
Listen, we might have to change it. RFK was confirmed as Health and Human Services Secretary
Confirmed
today.
of Eat Your Vegetables Secretary.
Let's
Eat
go.
your vegetables, no red dye.
I'm excited.
I just had a whole bunch of red dye, some Reese's Pieces.
Did you?
Fantastic. I don't know if it has red dye, but it was awesome.
Oh, I guarantee you there's some dye in there.
Yeah, it's got to be, of course.
There's got to be.
There's no orange food outside of carrots.
No. You could use that. You could use those to color some stuff. You
Those
could
are
use you could
so
use beets.
delicious.
You could use beets.
I'm sorry. Nothing beats a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Yeah. I don't know.
You don't like Reese's?
I'm not like gung ho about them. I don't dislike them.
One of the only things I'll eat, like sweet-wise. I don't like sweets at all, but I'll eat Reese's.
Okay.
It's weird.
I tried fasting yesterday.
How'd that go?
Didn't make it. But I tried. I gave it the college try.
So how long did it last?
I lasted until 9 o'clock in the evening.
So when did you start?
All day.
Okay.
Just coffee and water.
Okay.
They
That's
say
interesting.
that the healthiest people have one thing in common. It's fasting. So that was my first tipping my toe in the pool.
But how long
I'm gonna do it every Wednesday.
How long are you just going to try to fast a day a week?
Yep.
No, it's not bad.
No. So I'm gonna try it again next week. But I had leftover, and my Murfreesboro people will know. I had leftover slick pig in the fridge.
Oh,
which is
Yeah, that's tempting.
It was like a half a rack of ribs.
Yeah, you can't.
And 9 o'clock rolled around, and I was like,
So are you going to try to go 24 hours?
Yeah, that's the goal.
Okay.
That's the goal.
Okay, I see that. That's
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were going to try to do from like from the time you wake up till, like some people, they'll only eat for like 4 hour period during the day or have one meal and they'll fast the rest.
We got this holistic health book by Dr. Sebi, and he said that if you really want to maximize your circadian rhythm, you should only eat during sunlight hours.
Yeah. What's the old saying? You eat like a king in the morning, a prince in the afternoon, and a pauper at night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I tried to do the fasting yesterday.
Yeah, I've done it a couple times.
I thought I was pretty proud of myself.
My wife does it probably once a month where she'll fast for like 3 days.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an odd thing.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Does she juice during that time, or
she will do like a detox thing where she drinks some of the, like some hippie drink or whatever.
Yeah.
But she doesn't eat any food.
I like hippie drinks.
Do you?
I'm for it. Yeah.
Man.
Juices like fresh squeezed juice.
Yeah, I'm a product of the 80s, so
you're not dabbling in the kombucha?
No. God, that's
No?
gross.
Really? My wife is a fan of the kombucha, big time.
Oh, my wife and kids love that stuff.
Yeah?
They'll drink it all day. Like, good kombucha, we're going to go do that. I'm like,
They had a kombucha bar down in Murfreesboro for a while. There was always only one car parked out front.
Yep. It was a Prius.
It was. Bunch of hippies. It was. It's vegetarians. So yeah, they love the kombucha. I've never been that, even when I played soccer, I wasn't like a super, like I walk.
Well, when you played soccer, I mean, you're working out so much. It's like you eat whatever the heck you want.
All day because I needed to.
Well, and you were in England, so it's like beans and toast.
It was crap. It was horrible.
How do you live in England and deal with that?
You know what? It was, luckily, it's funny. You live in America. You're like, I'm never eating McDonald's or Taco Bell ever. You're over there for like 3 months. You're like, you see the Golden Arches. You're like, this is going to be the greatest day of my life.
Yes.
Right. And so it the food was awful. It was so bland. It was the worst. They're better now, but it was pretty bad.
When I was 15, my younger sister went on a hockey tournament throughout Europe.
Yeah.
And so she was playing everywhere. And it was like day 3, and I was like strictly chocolate diet for the rest of the time I was out there. Because we were in Germany and Slovenia. Italy was good food. We could get down with Italy. But the other places, it was just, what is this meat paste that you have on bread?
Oh, yeah, they love that. Like when you go, especially when you go to the Eastern European countries.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a lot of meat paste.
It's a lot of meat paste. It's like, hey, this is a weird hamburger. Well, it's a horse burger. Excuse me.
Listen, if you think this is weird, let's crack a quail egg on top of this, and you can eat that raw too.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, that's it. And
it doesn't
Scotland
make any sense.
had the worst food.
What did you get in Scotland?
So when I was going up there, the guy that was like representing me, he said, "Whatever you do, mate, don't eat that haggis. They're going to offer it to you. Don't ever eat it. It's gross. It's disgusting. So it's like pig intestine, and they stuff it full of stuff. But
it's so.
How do you clean out a pig intestine? They don't do that.
So we were at this. We stayed at this. The first night we stayed at this little like hotel hostel like thing.
Okay.
And my buddy was traveling with me. And we remembered, we went downstairs and there's all these Swiss kids, they were in their like 20s. And
yeah, you know
like,
them.
They're like, we're going to eat it. The guy's all, do you want some of this haggis? And I'm like, no way, that's gross. You're gross. And I know it's your house, but no. They ate it up. At about an hour and a half later, we're getting ready to get on our train. We all saw them there. They've been vomiting. They were struggling. Yeah, it was gross.
Got a text from Sandra on the text line, said, Chad, heard a Brit say once, they conquered the lands of spices and used none of them.
That's right. Everything in England, food-wise, was based on a dare. Whoever got it, if you eat it, you get to name it.
What do you got coming up on the show today?
We're going to talk about Elon. This anger that's about Elon. Is it about Elon or is it about the cuts? Because I think it's as much about Elon as it is the cuts. Because if somebody else would have come in, a forensic accountant, and done all this, would they be this upset? And the other thing, Doug's party. You going to go to Doug's party?
I haven't been invited yet.
All right. We're going to talk about Doug's party. It's going to be a rager.
Okay.
The world's going.
A rager with a guy named Doug.
It's the story is great about Doug. Just how he became an overnight sensation, and he's 85.
All right. We'll listen to it.
Doug's party.
Chad's in next. It's Super Talk 99.